The webinar will begin shortly. Please remain on the line.
Welcome to a really exciting presentation that I'm going to do with my partner Chris Cantel in just a moment. We'll get going. Just wait a couple of seconds for people to arrive. And I see some of you can hear me already, so I don't even need to ask that good old question everyone asks every webinar you go to. Can you hear me? So hi David, Philip, Harris, Ken, Hattie. Fantastic, and good to see you all here. So let me just click on, because I've just realized I've made a mistake there on that opening title slide, which I hadn't changed from a previous one, so we'll skip quickly past that mistake. And I'm afraid this evening, it's going to be a bit rough and ready because Chris and I have been pulling this together, and what we wanted to concentrate on is teaching you guys and not making something slick and professional. So I'm afraid you're going to see that it's not very slick and professional, but hopefully, well, I'm sure, in fact, it's not hopefully, I know that you're going to learn a true secret, really, something that I have not seen taught really anywhere outside $2,000 weekend seminars. And I'm going to lay it all out for you tonight with my partner Chris. And Chris is here with me. Chris, can you hear me okay?
Yes, can hear you, John, fine.
Good evening, Chris.
Hi,
how are
everybody?
You?
Yeah, good.
Fantastic. Mark says, the sound is very bad. Your voice is getting garbled. Is anyone else hearing garbled audio coming through? Good for me, says Chris. Fantastic. So, great. That's all right then. In which case, we're going to crack on pretty soon, but Chris is going to be there in the background answering a lot of questions, and he's going to be presenting some of the key stuff later. And let me just talk a little bit about Chris. A lot of you know me already. A lot of you know Chris too, but I have to say that my knowledge of SEO, I'd like to think I know quite a bit, and I do, but I've got to tell you that Chris is the SEO genius here, and he has a capability which I'm going to demonstrate because I'm going to show you some of the sites that we've ranked, or I should say that Chris has ranked. For high competitive terms, I'm going to show you the traffic we're getting. I'm going to show you quite how powerful is the system that Chris has perfected, and then we're going to be teaching all of that to you. So I hope Chris isn't blushing in the background there, but he is absolutely exceptional in what he's able to do with websites and getting them to the top of Google. Chris Cantel, Tamar, is my partner here, who you can see on the left of the screen right here. If you're looking at our screen, and you can see, if people can't hear me, hopefully they can see my mouse going around those telephone numbers that are back up. And Chris here on the left, and the good-looking one on the right is me. No, I'm just joking. But we will crack on pretty soon. So Chris, if you can, as I'm presenting the first bit, if you can watch the questions coming in, and sure. Everybody, Chris will attempt to answer questions that come up, and in the chat box, and then we'll be swapping duties a little bit through. We're not. Well, I am recording it, so we'll either get a replay out, but actually what I'd rather do rather than the replay, as a question coming in about replays, is I'd like to do a live repeat. So what we'll probably do rather than replay this, and the trouble with a replay, you put it up on the internet, and before you know it, someone's going to download it, copy it, and it's something you can never control. And this is not something that I really want spread around the Black Hat forums. It's too powerful. It's really for our customers or private invited lists only. And you saw in that video that I put out before, we can never release this information publicly as an offer. This is far too secret. Really, for a public offer. We can't release this as a WSO. We can't release it where we're going to sell hundreds or thousands of copies of our system because it's too secret. It's too good. And if we let too many people know about it, it's going to spoil it. Not spoil it because of competition, but because once information gets out and gets into the Black Hat forums and all that, then the value of that information tends to be trashed. So we're only going to release this information, well, first of all, only to you guys, only to those of you who are on our lists, who have bought products from us in the past and stayed loyal and listened to our emails and all of that stuff. So we may well do it for some of our friends and other marketers, but it's certainly never going to be, never ever going to be a public big offer because of the value of what we're going to teach you, and that we need to keep it. We need to keep it out of the public domain, really, is what I'm saying. And what we're going to talk about this evening is the single greatest, most valuable skill, I believe, this is my opinion, obviously, the single greatest, most valuable skill that you can possess anywhere in internet marketing, and that is the ability to rank your site or your client's site at the top of Google and to do it at will. And it is why is it the most valuable skill? Because frankly, where do people go if they want to socialize? They go to Facebook and other social networks. You hear a lot about social marketing, but people don't go to Facebook to find stuff out or buy stuff. If you want to find stuff out or buy stuff, where do you go? You go to Google. Over 1 billion internet users in the world, and Google is the first choice, has the vast majority of the search traffic around the world, the first choice where people will go if they want to find something out or want to find something to buy. And that's why, because for the right keywords, for buyer keywords, all you have to do is put in front of them what they're searching for, and they're going to take action and buy it or opt in to receive your information or whatever it is. So Tony says no good if it doesn't convert, if your page doesn't convert. Well, Tony, that's a good point, of course, but I can tell you what. With I think there are over 1 billion there are over 1 billion Google searches per day. 1 billion searches, queries on Google per day. And you're right, you've got to get your web page at the other end to convert. But as I've heard other marketers say, if you get enough traffic to your page, you can be absolute rubbish at converting, and you can still make money. And that is the counterpoint, Tony, to yours. But yeah, of course, you want to have a good page there, but it's not that hard. If people are looking for what you have to offer, you just need to offer it to them, and they're gonna convert. So let's crack on straight into this. And it really is simple to do. It sounds crazy that I should say that, because people don't think of SEO as being simple, but it really is. And I'm going to prove it to you. I'm going to show you right now that it really is simple to do. It takes a little bit of time, but how can I make this claim? Well, yeah, it is bold. 99.9% of people's experiences is probably opposite to what I've said, that SEO is simple. And I've been there too, and I don't know if you have. You've bought SEO systems and tried them. You bought magic plugins and software that promised great stuff, and yet you're still not there, or your site's stuck on page 2, or it's used to be out there but it's been hit by a penalty and now it's gone again. And you beat your head against a brick wall. Give me a yes in the question box. I'd love to get an idea if those bullet points tie in with your experiences. That yeah, you've tried, you've bought systems, you've done them, you've implemented them to the T, but still your site's not at the top. Sad to say, but yes, says Chris, and everyone says yes, 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 yes. Oh, yes, says Dion English. So, yeah, absolutely. It is. It's been my experiences too. I've tried it too previously, and been at the top and come down and bought systems. But I'm going to show you the proof. So, let me just do one thing. I've not done this before. I've got a poll in here. I'm going to launch it, and I'd like you to just, let me see if that works. There we go. Hopefully a poll has popped up on your screen, and just go ahead and click on that. I'm going to share the results of this so we can all see, because people's experiences are very, very interesting. So go ahead, and if you see the poll there, click on it for me, answering the questions, and in a second I'll come back to it, and I'll just I'll tell you what everyone says. Yeah, spend a small fortune, says Chris, another Chris, on SEO products, I guess. And let me explain why that is while you're answering the poll there, and I'll come back to you with the results. And I'm going to use an analogy here, which is fishing. I don't know how many of you like fishing or have been fishing or do fishing. Just give me an idea. Give me a quick yes or why in the box if you have some interest or have tried fishing in the past, because I don't know if this is a completely rubbish analogy or not. I'm getting about a mix, quite a few EYs, but a lot of no's. All right, so let me explain about it. If you haven't been fishing like I have and stood on the bank of a lake or a bit of sea or whatever it is, you get there, you stand there, you're all full of expectations. You know there are fish in the water, and you bung your line in, and you stand there, and hours pass, and nothing happens, and you're getting really frustrated, and you haven't caught a single fish. And then along comes another guy, and he's just a short way along the bank, and he pops it, and he looks maybe a little bit more professional than you. He obviously seems to know what he's doing. He pops his line in the water, and bingo, he hauls out 2 beautiful fish within minutes. And then worse, probably some kid comes along and goes on the bank on the other side of you, and he pulls out something even bigger, and you're just thinking, what's going on? You know, why is my line sitting in the water and I'm getting nothing? And these people are turning up and pulling out fish left, right, and center, and rods are bending, and people are pulling out huge things, and you're just thinking, oh, for goodness sake, what is wrong with me? And I think that's a very good analogy for SEO, because someone's getting their sites to the top. People like Chris are getting their sites to the top, and the rest of us are staring at the search results and wondering why we can't. So let me have a look at. I'll show you. See if I can show you the poll now. So, and I can just give you the results. So out of my first question, bought plugins or software which delivered nothing. 67%. So 2/3 of you have bought software which delivered nothing. Nearly half of you, just under 50%, have bought SEO systems which you've implemented to the T and had no results. And that's one of the most depressing things of all. You know, if someone sells a system saying this is how to get your site to the top, and you do it and it just doesn't work, that's pretty depressing. 33%, so a third, have had some success and seen your site plummet due to a penalty. So a third of you have had a site up in the rankings and then plummet. And a third of you, again, have had some success reaching page 2 or page 3. So that's very interesting, and thanks. No, I don't think you can see the poll results. That's why I read them out to you. I can put I put them on the screen now, but I'm pretty sure GoToWebinar will not show them to you. So that's why I read them out. So that's very interesting. Thank you for answering those questions. And you know, one of the reasons is I think that SEO is one of the easiest things to hide behind as a marketer, as a dishonest marketer, because you can sell something and say you're great at SEO, and it's very hard to call people out. It's very hard to find out until you've tried it and found it doesn't work. And there have been products that I've bought and I've been excited about that I've tried and only realized thereafter, well, this is just total rubbish. What the guy said is not true. And it is a bit sad. But let's go on with the fishing analogy, and then we'll get into it. Because the thing about this fishing story I've just told you, and watching everyone hauling the fish out, is if you had exactly the same fishing rod as the guy along the bank who's pulling them out every 5 minutes, if you had exactly the same hook and exactly the same line, exactly the same tackle, and you had exactly the same bait, and you put the same bait and the same hook and the same tackle and the same bit of water where he was standing, there's no magic. Do you think if you'd done that and you'd done it at the same time, then you would have caught the same fish he did? I mean, does that make sense to everybody? And obviously I'm talking about an SEO analogy. If you did exactly the same thing in exactly the same time in exactly the same way in exactly the same place, then you would be successful too. So that's why I can tell you that we're going to show you how to do it, because we know how to do it. We're the guy along the bank who's hauling the fish out every 5 minutes. And that's why I can make that bold claim. So this is us then. We're going to give you the fishing rod and the tackle and the bait, and we're going to take you to the same bit of water at the right time, and you're going to catch your fish too. Okay. I'm just looking at Stallion's question. I don't quite follow that question, Stallion. I'll maybe if you want to clarify it, and then I'll let Chris right. So it is the same in SEO. If we show you what to do, you can do it too. Trouble is, too often marketers who are teaching SEO don't actually know what they're talking about. Like a lot of fishermen's tales. And the plugins and software, now there's a lot of good software out there, plugins that do little bits and pieces to your site and on-page optimization, all that kind of thing. And they put boxes here and links there and all of that sort of stuff. Don't get me wrong, you know, a lot of them work very nicely, but they're only the icing on the cake. If you don't get the fundamental SEO right, they're not going to suddenly propel your site to the top and bring you hordes of traffic. And some of them are fraudulent for sure, but there's a lot of good ones from a lot of my colleagues out there. But you know, they're only a small effect. They're not going to bring your site to the top. And look, I've just messed up on this slide. It's actually really simple to do. I can't even read what I've written underneath. You don't need trinkets and software. All you need is correct SEO. And it's actually really simple to do. If you do it right, these are the results you're going to get. So I want to show you, and it's important because if I don't show you our results, I'm just like one of those other guys, you know, selling stuff which is pure theory. I'm going to show you the results. Chris, I can hear you typing away in the background there. I don't know if you just want to click yourself onto mute while we're going on.
Right, okay, yeah, will do.
No problem, thanks. And let me show you some stuff. So some of the proof then. One of the big sites I'm going to show you, so let me bring up my browser window, and go to Google. And I'm going to show you a search term which is very, very competitive, and that is for escort services. Now, escorts, this isn't necessarily the niche I'd like to be in. It's one of our customers. But if I type into here, Croydon, in fact, I need to open a private browsing. So just to make sure you know I'm not logged in, I'm going to open a new private window, drag it over here. Here we are, private browsing. And I'm going to go to Google, and you'll know that this is absolutely genuine results. And let me just bring up something over here as well. 1 second. I need to open up my my links to show you. And if I go, for example, to Croydon. Croydon's a city, is a part of London, and type in Croydon escorts. Escort service is basically for wealthy people who want a nice lady to take with them to a play, opera, whatever that might be. And you can see here a site, cityofeve.com. Number 1, just below the other listings. And we're ranked for multiple keywords in this niche. You throw escorts, for example. I'll show you that one. We're number 1 as well, cityofeve.com. And in a moment I'm going to show you the analytics just to show you what the traffic is we're getting here. These are massive, massive search terms. It's a very expensive service, escort services. You know, you're talking about thousands of dollars. This is a very, very, very competitive and highly profitable niche. I mean, I could go on and on. London, Croydon, cheap London escorts. So the whole of London this keyword's for, which is, you know, city of however many millions. Cheap London escorts, cityofeve.com. So perhaps I can show you what this actually means in terms of traffic. So here we are, Google Analytics. I'm logged in, and the website then, City of Eve, is the website that we're talking about. And if I show you the traffic here, you can see, oh gosh, I'm not sure what that spike is just there. Wow, we must have gone up in the rankings today, Chris. So we've got a spike in traffic to 3,212 visitors today. But you can see we've been averaging over the last several days nearly 2,000 visitors a month. Well, that's historical, nearly 2,000 visitors a month. We're talking about 50,000, 2,000 a day, nearly 2,000 a day. Sorry, my maths is rubbish. Nearly 50,000 visitors a month on cityofeve.com, and that's all search engine traffic. Let me show you the acquisition. This is search engine traffic. Here we go, organic search. The vast majority of it, and the rest is direct traffic. So that direct traffic are probably people who've bookmarked the site and come back to it. 86% of new visitors, that'll be most of these people from organic search. So this is buyer traffic, people who are looking to hire an escort in London, which is an expensive service, are finding our site for multiple page 1 keywords. So very, very powerful indeed. Let me show you some more. What else have we got here I can show you? Paul Smith jeans, for example. One of our clients is a clothing, Paul Smith escorts, that's all right, is it? Paul Smith jeans, and I'll show you where we are here, and infinities.co.uk, number 1, 2, is just this is the AdWords up here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4th ranking for Paul Smith jeans. Paul Smith accessories. Let me type in accessories. And then we're nearly finished. Hopefully I got you convinced. 1, 2, 3, number 4 for Paul Smith accessories. Ralph Lauren is another of the brands they sell. So Ralph Lauren polo shirts. Let's look at back in here. Ralph Lauren polo shirts. And let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Number 6 for Ralph Lauren polo shirts, a major, major shopping keyword, buyer's keyword, that this client of Chris's is ranking on page 1 for multiple keywords, guys. And hopefully I've got you persuaded. We know what we're talking about. And please tell me if you feel that I have done that. Please give me a yes in the box if you feel, okay, John, you've made the point. You've shown it to us, we understand, you can do it. So give me a yes in the box if you feel that is true. And then I hope now, if your answer is yes, which it is, yes, 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 let's come in. Tamar says, looks good, let's go. Okay. And the reason I wanted to do this, and here's just a proof that infinites.co.uk, you can see on this email, it's just a testimonial from Andrew, who runs the shop, that this is us that's promoted them to page 1. You saw it as us on City of Eve because I showed you that. So let me show you how. Thank you, everyone, then, for giving me the yes. Go on and show us. A lot of you are very impatient, and I totally understand it, actually, guys. I totally understand it. But please forgive me for taking that time because it was important. Or else, how can you trust us? How can you believe what I show you? How can you even bother to listen to the rest of this coaching call if you're not sure that we know what we're talking about? So now we've hopefully persuaded you of that. Is this teaching fast and easy to learn and implement, says Stallion? Yes, I think it is. It depends what you mean by fast. Nothing's magic. You need to put a little bit of time and effort into it, but compared to the other stuff you struggled with, anything's fast if it works first time, put it that way, and this works first time. So let's get into it. Let's get cracking on with this. First, some ground rules, and probably a lot of you know this. Google likes quality and authority. The last couple of years, really since 2011 or so, Google's rolled out all the algorithm updates you've probably heard about, Penguin, Panda, and Hummingbird, and there have been various different iterations of that. And through that process, Google has slapped down hard on people trying to artificially promote their site, which is what we do. They've slapped down hard on forced SEO. And one of the ways they've done that is by ranking high quality and high authority. And so on your own site, you've got to have high quality and authority. And off-page. Off-page means backlinks to your site. You've got to have quality and authority there. Just so I make sure I pitch this teaching at the right level, tell me, give me a yes if you understand what a backlink is, and a no if you don't understand. And that'll give me an idea of just wanting to gauge the amount of explanation I need to do. I'm getting all yeses, yes, yes, yeses. I get one no from Mark, okay, a couple of no's. So basically a backlink is a link on another website to your own site. It's a link on another website pointing at your own site, and Google will promote your site if there are enough of the right kind of links from other people's sites to yours, and that's what we're going to be talking about. Okay, so, and most of you, 90% of you have got a yes in there to backlinks. So second ground rule is Google likes natural. This is the other thing they've slapped down on in the last couple of years, is they've looked for signs of unnatural backlinking. So natural backlinking is when a site becomes gradually more popular, people on their own blogs and websites and other things are going to link to it naturally because it's becoming more popular. So people will link to Wikipedia because everyone knows about Wikipedia, so there's lots of links naturally appearing. But an SEO specialist is going to put those links in artificially all around the internet, and that can be picked up. So what we do, what Chris and I do, is natural in the eyes of Google. We make it look natural. And if you use your main keyword, say I want to rank for Labrador training, if I use Labrador training all over the internet, Google sees that. It's not natural. So you can't use the same what's called anchor text, the words linked to your URL, all around the internet. That's unnatural. Hundreds of links in one day for a brand new site is not natural. And if you do these things, Google's going to detect you for artificial or forced SEO, penalize you, and you'll never ever rank your site. Mess with those, Google will get you. So you've got to look natural. You've got to have quality and authority in everything we do. Quality and authority in everything that you and we do in promoting your site. Okay, so correct SEO. Correct SEO, which is a breakthrough, and we call it SEO breakthrough, and it really is simple. And this is what we're going to go into, having established those ground rules there. The first thing then, step one. On your money site. So your money site is the site that is either your client site if you're employed by a client, or if it's the site that you're going to sell things from or have your affiliate links on or something like that. So preferably you want to find an aged, high authority domain and buy it. And we can go through this in questions. I want to give you the overview of the system because many of you know how to buy an aged or high authority domain, and if not, we can come to that later. But find an aged high authority domain. So that's someone's second-hand domain, a second-hand website that is no longer being used by the owner, and you can buy it for probably around $10. You can get a high-quality, high-authority domain that's expired, that's been around for some years, and buy it for around about $10. If you've got an existing site or a client site, then fine, you don't have the luxury of starting from scratch. You have to start with their site, so no problem. But then you've got to look at on-page optimization. And again, I'm not going to go into the details here. You could probably do a YouTube search for on-page optimization for SEO and find a very good video about it here. It's relatively simple. There's a few ground rules. Google still loves WordPress, so WordPress sites are still great for SEO. H1 and H2 tags. Let me just bring something up here 1 second, just so I can show that to you. I can close that window. And I'm just going to take this over here and log into a website. Give me 1 second. As I meant to do this before, apologies guys. I will just log in and show you something on my website, what I mean by the H1 and H2 tags. Very, very simple to do. And so here we go. I've added a new post. So here we are. I'm in the back end of my blog, johnpearce.com, and in the title here, if I put my main keyword, the word I want to rank for, that's going to be given an H1 tag, but also, and all H1 means headline. So here, if I put my keyword in the body of the article, here, hopefully you can see that, and you see where it says styles here, paragraph here. You can see heading 1, H1, heading 1, so I can put that and you notice it goes bold and bigger. So that is what's called an H1 tag, and Google looks for that to see there's some importance with that word on the page. If it was a heading 2, they'd see, because they're originally designed for headings, Google would see, well, that's also of some importance. So you need to use those tags essentially to tell Google in your post what are the terms that are relevant to that post. H1, H2 tags. You want media rich. You want videos and images in your posts, and you want your images to have the alt tags set. So any image that you put into a post, I'm just in the sake of shortness of time, I won't show you that, but an image you put into your post, you want to have alternate text set to relevant words. But you also need to be careful about spamming your keyword. Again, don't have Labrador training in H1 tag, H2 tag as alt tags for your image and multiple times through the post. You've got to look a little bit more natural with some keyword variations on the theme of Labrador training, such as training your Labrador and other things, or even other related terms, dog training or my beautiful Labrador, all sorts of other stuff, so that it looks more like a natural post, not an SEOer trying to persuade Google to rank his post. So on-page stuff, relatively simple. That's all I'm going to say for the moment, because I do want to get into the meat of some of the other stuff that we're going to go into. Are you happy, guys? Give me a yes if you're happy with that level. Just a very, very brief coverage of the on-page stuff. I think most of you know a lot about it already, probably, and we'll carry on with the important stuff. Okay, so far, says Tony. Great, thanks. Okay, so let's move on then. So the step 2 then is off-page, or backlinking. Backlink in heaven, I call it, because this is the whole thing. This is where it all comes together. This is what we do to get to the top of Google, because you have to do on page, because it makes it much easier to rank your site if you do what I just talked about. But on page will never rank for a competitive keyword on its own. So you have to do step 2 that I'm talking about here if you want to rank anything more than very, very low competition. So if I wanted to rank for the term how to train my Labrador on July the 31st in a leap year, for that search term, I could probably rank quite easily without having a single backlink. But if I want to rank for Labrador training, I probably always know I'm going to need lots and lots of backlinks, but in the way that I'm about to cover now. So here's how to do it. Anyone, there's a note there in the black square, anyone doing SEO correctly today for competitive keywords is doing this that I'm about to teach you, period. There is nothing else that works now apart from short-term black hat stuff. My guru friends, and well, I wouldn't call them friends, acquaintances, people I know who are big SEOers in the industry, and you can probably think of some names that I'm thinking of right now. If they're getting sites to page 1 for competitive search terms, they're doing what I'm about to tell you. And I haven't heard this taught, as I said to you guys, I haven't heard this taught outside high-ticket, sort of $2,000 weekend trainings. It's that class of information. People aren't teaching this much. And I don't know why quite. You're beginning to see it being taught a little bit more, but I'm going to give it to you for free, so I hope you're going to be grateful at the end of this. So let's get into it. This is powerful, powerful stuff. Quick foundation. Google has always and still today attempted to gauge the relevance and importance of your site by the number and quality of backlinks. It used to be easier, they used to be less picky about it. Now they want natural, they want high authority, they want high quality, but it's still today the fact that if you're going to get to the first page for competitive keywords, it's the number and quality of links to your sites around the internet. What's changed is the two things I've mentioned already. You've got to be natural, you've got to think about your anchor text and have variations in your anchor text. If you've put 3,000 links out around the web with Labrador training as the anchor text, then that's pretty obviously the work of an SEOer and not natural linking, and you will get nowhere, you will get penalized. So you've got to be natural and have various different anchor texts used in your backlinks around the web, and you've got to go for quality and authority. There's no point putting backlinks on low quality, low authority, spammy sites. They just don't have any value. So then you say, but John, how do I get backlinks then to my site from high authority, high quality websites? And that's what I'm going to cover, and this is the whole enchilada. Now let's just talk about some options first. Well, option number one, maybe you could look on the first page of Google, see who's ranking there, and go to them and ask them if they can give you a backlink. Because if they're ranking already, they're a high-quality site, and their backlink is going to be really very relative. Well, you know as well as I do that is a pipe dream. You're just not going to get people to do that. They're not going to be interested in promoting your site. Well, maybe you could buy links on high-authority websites. They're dangerous and expensive, as I said. Let me just show you something here, actually. Let's go to a site. Let me show you a site. It's interesting. Linkadage.com. Linkadage.com is a site where you can buy links. You can pay someone who owns a high authority, high authority website. You can pay them. I need to log in. I think. Do I need to log in? Yes, I do. I can't remember my login. Give me 1 second, guys. I want to show you this because it is of interest. 1 second. Apologies. I did mean to have this ready, and now I can't find it. That's not good. I need to log in. I may have to do this later. What I was going to show you is the cost of links here, and I can't even find my login details. How useless of me. That is really poor. I do apologize. I'm not going to waste any more time. I'll try and come back to it here. But on Linkadage, you can buy links, but you're talking about £30 a month, or $30 a month, I should say, to buy a link every month. And of course, if you don't keep paying them, they're going to take it down, and then your website's going to drop. So just going back to the presentation, and apologies for that slight mess up there. Just going back to, I can't even find the presentation now. There we go. Buying links on high authority websites is not only expensive, but it's also dangerous. Why is it dangerous? Because Google are after these guys. If you're selling links, it's only a matter of time before Google will find you and find out that you're selling links. And sharing my screen again. And they will de-index that link, and your site will suffer. So that's not really an option either. You can strike up relationships with other website owners and swap favors. Well, yes, you can in principle develop relationships with other people in your niche, but that is massively, massively time consuming. You're going to have to spend hours developing a friendship with someone to get one link. It's not really a player. Now, there are a number of high-priced SEO services where you can, and they're well protected often and kept secret, unlike those sites on Linkadage, for example, and they will sell you links. For example, I was talking to one of my good friends in the business. He uses a service where for $30 a month he gets basically 30 posts, so 30 a post that he can put a link in 30 times. That's $30 a month, and they're not particularly powerful. They're not always what they promise, and again, they could be quite expensive. So we're running out of options here. There is Black Hat that's short-term effective, but it's SEO suicide. Google's chasing down the Black Hatters, and it's only a matter of time before, if you employ a Black Hat strategy, you'll be shut down too, or your links will be devalued, and then you're back to where you started. So, truth is, it's not easy at all. But you might say, wait a minute, what about Magic Submitter or SE Nuke? They come preloaded with hundreds of backlink sites. Well, the trouble is, yeah, they do. But Google's onto that too. And the quality of the sites that they backlink to, their own internal ones, I mean, they're great. They're just tools. They're just software. But if you just use their internal sites that they come preloaded with, those are of such low quality and so spammy that it's barely worth it. And in fact, you're more likely to damage your site's reputation in Google's eyes by using them. So what you've got to do is go for quality and authority, and this is how you do it. It is simple. It's beautifully simple. And it is the most powerful of backlinks. You build your own. Build your own backlinking sites. And let me go on and explain a little bit about that as we go through it. Build your own backlinking sites on age domains with high domain authority, and then place your backlinks to your money site on the homepage of your backlink site with contextual anchor text in media-rich articles. So you're giving Google exactly what it wants: an age domain with high domain authority, with your link on the home page of that little site with the right anchor text and media-rich articles, and Google will love it. Google will love it, and it is an extremely powerful, probably the most powerful backlink there is in existence. You know, unless you can get it on the BBC homepage or something, obviously that's even more powerful. But this type of backlinks, in terms of what you can generate yourself, are the most powerful kind of backlinks that you can really get anywhere, bar none. So we're going to go into that a little bit more detail now, and cover this step 2, this whole process. You know, step 1, what we covered was the on-page optimization, and really it is 2 steps in SEO: on-page and off-page. So step 1 we covered on-page very briefly. Step 2, the next step that we're going to do in pursuing these backlinks off-page is to get your anchor text balance right. So if I bring up Majestic SEO here for a moment, and hopefully I can remember my login on this one, majesticseo.com. And it's a free service. You do have to log in. It's just building. Oh, here we go. Can I remember? No, I can't. I do apologize, guys. I did tell you at the outset, didn't I, that we'd concentrated on trying to get the information here and not on being a polished operation, but this is perhaps not as polished as we wanted. Let's see if that works. There we go. Phew, I'm in. So with a Majestic, you can put in any domain name in here. So let's look at a good British domain name, bbc.co.uk. And Majestic is going to tell you some great information about the site. And we'll cover all this a little bit later in the questions, but what it will tell you is about the anchor text. And if you can see down here on the bottom right-hand side of my screen, there is a large amount of this pale blue other anchor text, where these other little segments are where the anchor text, the backlink, the text associated with the link to the BBC site. This is what it says: BBC, BBC News here, bbc.co.uk, bbc.co.uk, BBC Sport. Can you see there's a good natural variation? Some of these you'd expect to be most prevalent, and then a whole load of other anchor text. Huge amount of variation. Now that is natural. Google sees that as natural. If you're on a Labrador training site and 90% of your backlinks saying Labrador training, like we talked about before, you can see it in Majestic SEO. So you can use Majestic SEO as a free tool to work out whether your anchor text balance is good or bad. And go back to the presentation. Here's the guidance that we want to give you. Is you want a maximum of 15 to 20% of your anchor text with your own keyword in, and with variations. So, you know, I often do Labrador training on vacation will be your anchor text sometimes instead of Labrador training. So you can have Labrador training in there 15 to 20% of the time, but a large number of keyword variations that are around the theme of Labrador training, maybe include those 2 words, but others as well. And really, you know, for your specific money keyword, you're really only talking about, you know, on its own, Labrador training. You only want that a couple of % of your anchor text. Now that's massive. That means the vast majority of your anchor text, 80% of your anchor text, isn't even going to have your keyword in at all. About 40% you want with generic terms like click here. 40%. This is stuff, guys, I hope you're listening, because this is the key stuff. This is the meat of this presentation. This is absolutely vital. We're going to come on to how we get those backlinks in a moment, but anchor text balance is absolutely vital. Ted's asking about LSI variations. Yeah, LSI is an acronym. I never really know what it means, but yes, that's what Google calls them. But basically, a natural set of variations in your anchor text. 40% of them, things like click here, or I've got I found this great article as anchor text with the link in it, generic stuff like that. And 40% of your anchor text needs to be just the domain, so www.etc.com, and with variations. Remember I just showed you that on BBC, so they got a couple here, www.bbc.co.uk, and then bbc.co.uk, and then http://www.bbc.co.uk. That's natural, because in the natural course of events, people are going to link to your site using all those variations. And so about 40% of them, of the anchor text, will be just your domain. About 40% of them will be completely non-keyword specific, and there's a maximum 15 to 20% involving your keyword. But the majority, the vast majority of that 15 to 20% having other words in the phrase, in the anchor text with your keyword in it, such as I often do Labrador training on vacation, or whatever it might be. So that is absolutely key stuff, guys. Absolutely, absolutely key. And if you haven't got this right, that is probably one of the main reasons, well, one of the most likely reasons why your site isn't getting to page 1, or why you've seen your site hit. So I've given you something right now, which is worth a fortune to you. You can go to Majestic SEO, get a free account, look at your anchor text balance on your own site using Majestic SEO, and you know what your target is. It's to change it to these sorts of percentages here. So how do you improve it, though? If you've got a problem, how do you improve it? Or if you're starting out from scratch, how do we make sure we get the anchor text right? And we need to, the way we do it is we need to place backlinks using those other keyword variations. So if I've got 100% of my anchor text is Labrador training and I need to change it, I've got to put maybe 10 times as many backlinks out there on the web using other anchor text, and then I will have got the balance right. Does that make sense, guys? If I got 10 links saying Labrador training out there, if I put another 90 links that say Labrador training in July in Alaska, and click here and www.labrador.com, then if I get 90 of those other links out, then now suddenly I've only got a 10% anchor text balance for my main keywords. Does that make sense? Give me a yes if it does. Chris, Barry, thank you. You've said yes. Yes, says Philip. Give me a no, of course, if it doesn't make sense, and I'll try and re-explain. Everyone's saying yes, that's great. Thank you very much. Good. So that's what we need to do to improve our anchor text balance and get ourselves at a penalty, for example, if we have them. But what we don't want to do is waste our most powerful backlinks to do this. We don't want to use a really powerful backlinking site, such as the one I described a moment ago, and I'm going to come back to put out a click here anchor text. So the answer is sweet and simple. There's a site called socialadder.com. socialadr.com. It's free or minimal cost. Free requires a little bit more time, or a minimal cost paid, which is an easy and automatic way to redress the anchor text balance, to basically get more social bookmarks on. What Social Adder does is it'll allow you to, let me just bring it up here, it'll allow you to place social bookmarks in large numbers with the anchor text that you choose. And those anchor texts you put out there there'll be backlinks to your site with different anchor texts, which allows you to then concentrate your money keywords. You want to get Labrador training out there on the internet somewhere, and you want to put it on your most powerful site. So the least powerful site to put your other anchor text, just to keep that balance right, the easiest way to do it is Social Adder. And you can do it free, as I said, but there's a paid service which isn't very expensive. I forget exactly how much it is. But you'll use Social Adder to change your anchor text balance by putting click here and domain anchor text and other things out there. There's a small SEO benefit. People use, Social Adder isn't designed to be used for this purpose. It just works very well for this purpose. People use Social Adder because they think that social bookmarks are really, really important for SEO. They have a limited impact. They're not all that powerful, and it's obvious Google wouldn't make them that powerful because they're so easy to get. But where we can use this to our advantage is to get this other that other thing taken care of, which is our anchor text balance. So just use Social Adder, get an account there, and get your anchor text balance right. Or if you're starting from scratch, you can use Social Adder to put the non-money keyword anchor text out there all over the internet, so we can concentrate our money keyword on the powerful backlinking sites that I'm coming to next. Have I? Are you all with me, guys? I want to make, because it's going quite fast, and I'm beginning to get into some details. I want to make sure you're following. Chris says yes, Maggie says yes, Philip says yes, Sean says yes. Oh, good. I'm getting lots of yeses. They're all flooding in now. Excellent. Generally, says Terry, if there's things that come out, just about, says Colin. So if there are things you understand, please type a question in there. Chris is typing away in the questions box as best he can. Chris, have you noticed any particular questions that have come through that we should address right now before I move on?
Yeah, just a few. With the Social Adder, your title, Social Adder posts to bookmarks, social bookmarks. So with social bookmarks, your title becomes the anchor text. So let's say you're in a niche where you're about fishing, for example. People in the past, well, people normally say that you should put your key phrase in the title, because then that becomes an anchor text. But the social bookmark is such a low quality backlink that it's not worth having your money link into it, because it's not going to do that much good for you. So what I'm saying is, make your title for your social book, but your key phrase in. So if you're about fishing and your key phrase is fishing tackle, for example, well, don't mention fishing tackle in the title. Mention something reasonably generic. So for example, the best way to have fun with a great sport, for example, that would be a good title for your bookmark. Now the bookmark description can have fishing tackle and all about fishing in it, but the title, which becomes your anchor text, shouldn't have your key phrase in it. Then you're using generic phrases, if you like, to get your anchor text balance in your favor, which is what you want to do. You want to get everything switched over to generic phrasing. That frees you up good space to use your powerful sites to put how you should do your social bookmarks.
Great.
A lot of people have asked, what have they asked? It's been going so fast, I've forgotten.
Yeah.
There've been so many questions, I've forgotten what was.
That's all right.
So I'll come back
in if you like. Yeah, push back in. I've just, Greg, I just appreciate your comment there. Greg's just written, this has come at such a brilliant time. You've answered something that's been really bothering me at this moment. Thank you. You're welcome, Greg. And thanks for all the positive comments we're getting from everybody here. Do appreciate this. So, okay, thanks, Chris, for that. That's great. So Social Adder is a great way to redress or change your anchor text balance back into your favor. A way is to you, and the best way, by far the most powerful option, is your own self-hosted aged authority domain. So you go to expireddomains.net, you buy an authority domain, which is of, say 5 years old, cost you $10. You set that up and you host it on your own